Welcome Motivation Sunday. Welcome Motivation Sunday.
Welcome to Motivational Sundays with Kevin and friends. I can't tell you, we've been doing this for so long. I keep looking back on the fact that the original show started with 300 quotes that I had created from the contents of my books. We used to talk about those quotes, and I kind of got bored with it. And I know that Naheem, Denise, Vanessa, Patrice, and Patricia, Christopher, and Gilda, and also Curtis Battles, as along with Anne Marie. I was just wondering, these quotes that we carried with us? Were they words that just kind of laid there on a page, or were there a conversation that needed to be had? So we get together every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Someone brings a quote that's attached to them for either life or that week or just for that moment. And we talk based on our interpretation and perspectives. And we created a show just for you. So without any further ado, I'm going to let the great voice of Naheem Garcia, the voice of our show, deliver the quote just for you.
None of us can change our yesterday, but all of us can change our tomorrow.
All right, by Colin Powell.
By
Thank you for
Colin
writing.
Powell.
Yes, thanks for writing these words. I want to see what happens with Vanessa, how this quote lands on you. Vanessa, how's this quote land on you?
Hello, Grand Rising, Grand Riches, Grand Love, everyone. How this quote lands on me is so how I try to live my life. um, it's hard. It is hard not to live in the past. You know, they say don't live in the past. You can't control the future, but you can control the now. But can you control the future? Yes, you can, because you are able to take either the unwalked path or the path that is walked most. And you always have to go with your gut feeling. And I tend to go more to the left. And people say, you know, if you do, look it up. Look it up what it means if you go to the right more or to the left. And you'll notice that you actually do one or the other. And or like they say, the good shoulder or the bad shoulder. And I tend to do the left because I now pray over every decision I make, and I know God is going to guide me in the right direction. And that has changed my trajectory many a times. And there's times in the past where I wasn't so in tune with the Lord, and I didn't do that. I went against the grain. And doing so, I saw the complications of those outcomes. So, how it lands with me is I do not make quick decisions these days. I breathe through it, I pray through it, and I let Him guide me through it. So, that's how that quote from Colin Powell lands on me. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for that that very powerful share. You know, it's amazing that our past, for most of us that are paying attention, is a teacher, and for most of us, we live our past becomes that prison. I think you need to free your mind, and everything else will follow. Vanessa, thank you for freeing yourself, and thank you for being present today. I want to see how this quote lands on Lois today. And Lois, I'm so happy that Lois has been experiencing the nurses' strike in New York. I heard rumor that it's starting to wrap up, and power to the people, over there in New York. And thank you. So, Lois, how's this quote land on you?
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Sunday. And thank you for that, Kevin, because yes, almost a lot of us have been on strike, a lot of hassles in New York. It's better. I'm expected to be back at work on Tuesday. as much as I love staying home with my mom and just chill and do nothing, kind of have to go back. There's still some nurses who are still out, so solidarity for all. Hopefully this week they will wrap up and things will be better. And once a nurse, always a nurse. I'm happy to be a nurse. In that same breath, Naeem, could you repeat the quote again, please? Thank you.
None of us can change our yesterday, but all of us can change our tomorrow by Colin Powell.
And this quote should be
Awesome.
fitting.
Awesome. Awesome. That's exactly where I'm going. So, the strike, I don't know. I don't know if I can say inevitable, but I can say that you got to fight for what you want or what you deserve or what you need. And sometimes it's nothing is handed to you. You got to work for it. So it's been a struggle. It's sorry, it's been 5 weeks, but we stand strong. So the day we started was January 12th, and today is April 14th. Trust me, it's been a road and it's been different. So where we started, we had a goal and a theme, and where we are now, it's totally different from where we were. So we continue to press on, we continue to strive, we continue to keep our focus and our goal, and keep our eyes on the pride. And Colin, that's just where it is. Thank you, guys.
All right. All right. Thank you. Our present moment, no matter where we are, when you look at this quote, is where you stand, is where you have your greatest power. So the struggle is real for all of us. And it could be personal, it could be professional, it could be in your creative outlets. And, we all have dreams. And I do believe that dreams will come true. I had this conversation with my brother Naheem 48 hours ago. I think his ship is about to come to port. And we're going to have a big celebration one day because Naeem's sun is rising. So when we say grand rising, we will see the sun not only rise on you, but it will set on you in 2026. So, the fact that Brother Christopher has gone back, I remember wearing a daishiki back in the day, to go ahead and allow myself to identify to a country I've never been, but only a country that I've only been in my mind, the motherland itself. So, Christopher, if you don't mind, we're coming to you. I want to see how this quote lands on you. Christopher, how's this quote land on you?
Thank you so much, Kevin. You I guess appointed me or volunteered me for the quote for this week, and I instantly thought of when you said, to keep it related, somebody who you felt a lot of respect for. I instantly came up with there are about 7 what I call African American heroes in the military or from the military that just came flooded into my mind. I missed a chance to see General Colin Powell speak. He was in Virginia, and I think we showed up the very next day, so we missed his speech. But the general has always been a major hero of mine, and although this was the quote of his that I selected, there's another quote that he has that I've lived by for the better part of my life, and that's get mad and get over it. And I've that's actually gotten me out of some really messy situations that I've probably gotten myself into. But I used to, hold on to anger, hold on to disturbances, and not just let them pass, as he suggested. But the idea of living in the past or allowing the past to, set you on edge. If you take a close look at that quote, it simply says you can't change the past. Yet here we are in a time where people are attempting to do just that, removing historical markers of events that are close and dear to certain people because it offends other people. Yet that offense has always been part of the way things simply were. And some people were simply expected to live with those, you know, um, uncomfortable feelings. And yet, when those when those bits of heritage were brought forward and said, "Hey, you should be proud of this. This is a statement of your very vocal, your very colorful past. Uh, hold it dear." Others have come in and said, "Nope, nope, that makes me feel bad, so take it away." And the assault on our past or the assault on history sort of left me, for me particularly, in a feeling that, okay, well, now they've taken that from us also. Um, the general's quote reminds me that yes, you shouldn't dwell on certain aspects of the past, or nobody can change those aspects of the past. Even though they may try, they cannot make them go away. But more important than that is the fact that you control your future. You can make selections that make your future work for you and, of course, for others. The idea is if you keep your bow forward and keep your motion in that direction, no matter what else comes up, no matter what the world may throw at you, if you can keep your direction true, then nothing is impossible. You can achieve every single goal that you place on yourself if you can just keep moving forward, not allow anything else, the past or a threatened future. Keep pushing forward. Make it work for you. Make it work. Make it come to life. And someone else will probably benefit from it, but that same someone else will thank you for it. They'll say that, yes, this is what they did for us. This is what they made possible through their sacrifice for us. So yeah, let's reflect on the past. Let's look back at the past. But no, as the general said, you can't change it, but you have the reins, you have the wheel for the future. Direct yourself forward and reap the rewards.
Yeah. Something I'm sitting here, and again, it's not often I am lost for words. And I wanted to apologize because I had a misstep because normally the person that brings the quote each week to the show is normally the first person that has it. And I did not look at my notes. I was so excited that we had a new co-host today, Patricia today on the show. I kind of missed it, but I'm glad that the direction that we did start in today set you up for the conversation. We could actually end this show on your interpretation and your share on the show. But I know everyone else wants to jump in and give that. But you sent a very strong message, and I want to make sure that people are clear. The reason why we do this show is the reason why that we live in history. I said this years ago when we first started the show with Naheem and Denise and some other people, is that during the month of February, we talk about Black history. In the conversation that we've had amongst ourselves is that each and every last one of us, 366 days a year, and the reason why I say 66 days of the year is because we create history that goes beyond the calendar year itself. Because today we are making history. Many of us, 40 something odd years ago, did not have the right to vote because of our skin color or our gender. Many of us had relatives that were sacrificing and making decisions so we can have the right to have this conversation today. Tomorrow's is built on the many decisions today. And if you erase any part of that history, no matter if you agree with it or you disagree with it, you deny an education and a person an opportunity to have a choice on the decisions that they make today. And the one thing that I've always said, if you want to ever have a level conversation, let's take a dozen people of different backgrounds, a different belief systems, and strand them on an island for 5 years where they had to fend, work together, and be together and see what history they create and what conversations. I will almost guarantee you whatever bias they had the first day would not be the same bias or prejudice that they have when they are saved from that. Because what happens is sometimes when you have nothing to say, you pay more attention to what's being said to you. And when you start to pay attention to what's being said to you, you start to think. I've said this before. Education is not designed to make you comfortable. It's designed to make you think. And if you don't know the true history, you have nothing to think about. So I'm going to turn to this conversation. I'm going to ask Naheem before Patricia gives us her share to repeat the quote for many of you that have just tuned in. So Naheem, will you please give us a quote again?
None of us can change our yesterday, but all of us can change our tomorrow, by Colin Powell.
All right, Patricia, how does this quote land on you?
Thank you very much for the opportunity and for the invite. My darling friend Vanessa says, "No, you got to come on here." And I thought to myself, okay, this, none of us can change our yesterdays, is very true. Because if you think about it, we carry our yesterday behind us all the time. Think of it like this. You have a Santa bag, and you have all of your yesterdays, your pictures, your troubles, your traumas, and all that. I like to drop it sometimes, so I've learned to process and release things. It's just the way I am. So, and the other part, but all of us can change our tomorrows. I wrote this down here for you guys. This is how I think, and maybe this will help you. I don't need destiny to justify my path. I choose it deliberately. Thank you.
Thank you. Short and sweet, and very powerful at the same time. You know, it's amazing. And I think this every time Gilda speaks. Words either build or they destroy. All right. In order to conquer hate, you must be open to love. All right. You also need to understand forgiveness because we're human beings and we make mistakes. You know, and sometimes we carry baggage with us forward that we should have let go a long time ago. Um, and we all know when to let it go. It's when life starts to get heavy. It's when people start to get heavy. We have to let it go. And I thank you for your share, Patricia S. And I was actually going to try to pronounce your name. I said, but I'm going to mess it up. And I don't want to do that on your first day of the show. I'm going to wait until you've been here for a while. I'm going to screw it up. All right. Anne Marie Maloney, big week coming up, spoken word. I think
Yes.
some of this is going to come into play. How does this quote land on you?
Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. Oh my goodness. We love the general and we love him for his role in our history, not just Black history, but American history, because General Colin Powell and his wife Alma are certainly icons, and something to be studied in school, isn't it? When we think about none of us can change our yesterdays, we can't change our yesterdays, but yesterday can inform us. Yesterday can inform our present. one of the things, and this aligns something with what I heard Christopher say, in terms of no matter the race, no matter the nationality, no matter who we are as people, and Kevin, you said this as well, the commonality that we have is hardship. Because we have this mistaken belief, and maybe we were fed this in our upbringing, that life is supposed to be grand and life is supposed to be one of ease. But regardless of who we are, there is hardship. And we have all, haven't we, made choices that maybe we say we regret them. But instead of regretting those choices, let it inform us. And that is how we can change our tomorrows. Because when you remember them, there's a lesson that comes and teaches that to teach you. And you have the opportunity to redefine success on your own terms. Just to give you a quick example, many of us are brought up in the hustle. You have to be twice as good to get half as much. You have to hustle and you have to fight. And this anxiety that resides in our nervous system, it stills our growth in a way. And it informs our present because we now know that we can take action by creating a place of joy, by creating a practice that we have joy amidst the hardship, that we celebrate and that we dance amidst the hardship. So in light of everything that's going on in our country, in terms of the erasure of who we are as a people, we still have our joy in our bones, in our DNA. And that is what we pass down for tomorrow. And then we are the ancestors for our children. And let that sink in for a moment, that our children will look to us. What did we do in the moment? And so for our viewers, our listeners who are wondering, okay, find joy. How in the world do you do that? You find joy in terms of what resonates to you. So if what resonates to you is to be that activist, to run for the office, to make change in your community, if that is your path, go ahead and do it. If to find joy means that you are a person and you are renegotiating what it means to be whole and your whole wellness and emotional well-being, go ahead and do it. Last, you find you can define your future when you change your nervous system, and you do that by moving. I kid you not. Exercise, walk, dance, whatever activity, move your body, yoga, and you would be surprised how the impact of movement will have on your mind, your well-being, and your ability to impact your tomorrows. This is how the quote landed on me.
And I am going to applaud you. You know, for the whole time that you were doing this, my mind was it wasn't racing; it was slow dancing with the conversation that you just gave us. And I looked back at Patricia S's background and looked at the fact of mind, body, and soul. You know, I told someone the other day, you know, that's worked so hard. I said, you know something? I said, you do not want to end your life or have the last day of your life and saying how hard you worked. We should all take more vacations. We should take time away to spend time with family, to see Mother Earth and appreciate it. And when I'm listening to you as well as Denise, is that you remind me of the teachers I had back in the day that were free spirits or allowed to educate kids one-on-one about life, not just what was in the books. All right, because your type of teaching presented awareness, and awareness brings about opportunities. Now teachers, they're restricted on the lessons that they can teach. We teach or educate our children based on our fears, and that fear equals prejudice. Instead of letting the children understand what has happened in this world, and a lot of the stuff that's happening in this world, it's the dark side of our conversation. But there is light, because when you look over the many things that we take for granted, that were invented by people that could not get um, copyright contracts and for their inventions or whatever, but we enjoy it. We enjoy it every time we turn on a light, every time we open up a refrigerator, every single time that we stop at a stoplight, every time we pick up our phone, every time we talk about the internet, every time we talk about the security systems that we have in there. They were invented by someone that when you look through the history books, they are not acknowledged for their creation. We need more people that are open to education and open to and prepare opportunities for everyone. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn over to our serial entrepreneur, Mr. Curtis Battle. I'm going to exhale for a little bit and ask Naheem one more time, just for our listeners, to give us this quote one more time by Mr. Colin Powell.
None of us can change our yesterday, but all of us can change our tomorrow, by Colin Powell.
All right, Curtis, how's this quote land on you?
So happy Sunday to all. It's always a joy to be with you and hear all the many opinions and great things that folks have to say. So I'm going to piggyback on two things. One, Kevin, about free your mind. I always think of the Matrix, and we're going to have to get out of the bubble that we've been into and go to the next level. And then Anne-Marie with create a joyful noise. How do we get to the next thing? So what crosses my mind and how this landed on me is the thing that we tend to drag from the past is the fear. Oh my God, if I did this, if I hadn't done this, I should have done this, my life would be completely different. All my people would be completely different. Woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. And that is the piece that really can be the stopping point versus I learned something from what I went through and it informs me on what I need to do next. It's, oh my goodness, I just don't understand. It's not fair. Well, in the grand scheme of the world, as the Lord gives us things to do, he didn't always say it would be fair, but he said he would always be with us. And so in looking forward and saying, getting up in the morning, and this is the entrepreneur's thing, it can only be the glass is mostly full. The glass is not a quarter empty. I always know that I have big dreams. I want to share those with people. I want to help folks along the way. And in that effort, I will hopefully make the world a better place. And that interaction I have with the young man who's a part of my group with the 100 Black Men, or that person who's behind the counter at the giving me my coffee, or that person that I'm teaching in a class, that energy I bring, that focus I have on how the world will be a better place because you're in it versus, oh my goodness, is what I take every day. And that is how this quote landed on me.
You could not have said it better. When you are making a difference in one person's life, you're making a difference in many persons' life. And because when you let someone know the world is better, a better place because you're in it, it also leaves, as PJ said last week, when you are that person, when you leave the room, you should make someone feel a little bit taller than they were when you entered the room. So I'm going to go ahead and, you're talking about many spoken words. We're going to see how this quote lands on Gilda.
Grand Rising, everyone.
How you doing?
Okay, this quote landed on me. Change your tomorrow by letting go of yesterday.
All right,
That's
short and
landed
sweet.
on me.
Short and sweet. All right. You always don't have to be the reason why you hear noise, but you have to be the reason why you heard it. All right. So we'll keep that short. Denise Lopes, another educator. Like I said, I'm going to say this a hundred times. I am very honored. I grew up in a military family. I did not serve, but I'm honored to have people like Christopher on this platform. I'm also honored that the fact that, and I really and truly wish, and one of the things I regret, because I had wonderful teachers like Anne Marie and Denise. I wish I was a better student then than the student I am now. Because even though my teachers may have thought I was a class cut up, I realize now that I was paying attention. But these two young ladies on here give so much and get so much in return and get not enough in return by the system that they work in, just because of their gender, the color of their skin, but they still keep giving. You guys are a gift. And one, I'm going to say this as a blanket statement to everyone on this panel. I thank you for your service to be the difference in what our children and what the world could see for every single person on this panel that shows up every single day and volunteers their time. I thank you. I salute you. And so, with that said, Denise, I know I took up a little bit more time than I expected. So, go ahead.
Okay. Bon dia, everyone from Cape Verde, west coast of Africa. I'm back home and enjoying the sun. This quote that me, it's a great quote. Gilda said, you have to let go of the past so you can enjoy the present and plan for the future. For me, that's how I go because I used to hold stuff from the past, especially from my father, because he was not there for me when I needed. So I was like killing myself because it was hurting me, not him, because he was still living his life. So it's just like me trying to be me. So I had to let go of that. So with that, let go of the past, you have to forgive, not for anyone, but for yourself. Because if you don't forgive and let God, it's going to be killing you and you're not going to enjoy your life. And for me, right now, since I read the book from Mel Robbins, Let Them Let Me, that's what I do. I let go, enjoy the moment. I try to be present, like with my children, with my family, with my friends, with you guys right now, like be present and listen, be a good listener and enjoy the present. Because we could plan for the future, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's out of our control. So what we have right now is this moment. And that's how it landed on me.
And that was a great promotion from Mel's book. You have to let them, and you got to let go. So it doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they say about you. Let them. You just go ahead and do you. You control the things that you have control over, and the only thing that you control, look down at your feet, is where you stand right now, this moment, and the actions and the conversation you're having right now. So I'm going to ask Naheem. We're coming close to the end of the show, to give the quote, and Patricia, give you a little time to think about it. And I'm gonna say this before Naheem speaks. It's amazing when you look at the name, when you name your children, you're setting your children up for either great things or letting them know the struggle is real. When you name your child Patricia Impact, what do you think the world's expecting of them? I'm going to wait to hear what I have to say. Naheem, go ahead, fire away.
None of us can change our yesterday, but all of us can change our tomorrow by Colin Powell.
So, first and foremost, thank you so much, Kevin, for having me today. I truly enjoy showing up in the room. And I love it that my parents, they named me Patrice. I love the fact that my mom, she decided to think so much of that name because her best friend in high school was named Patrice. And her last name was Blue, Patrice Blue. And my favorite color is blue. So, thank you so much for that. And Patrice actually can be a male's name as well, like Patrice Mumba in it's actually the Republic of the Congo. Yes, the Congo is the president there. And Patrice also means noble one. And so someone that's of noble character. And so with this message for today, none of us can change our yesterday, but all of us can change our tomorrows. It speaks volume for me. First and foremost, our past will never dictate our future. You know, how we have experienced how we've experienced life in the past We may have made some choices that may not have been the best choices for ourselves. But looking forward in the present moment and looking towards the future for a brighter future, I just feel like we have the opportunity to change how we showed up for our past. Yes, we have 24 hours in a day and nothing less, nothing more, but 24 hours. And for me, I love to focus on how I spend my 24 hours. Sometimes I may drop the ball, with time management. Sometimes I may try and make sure that I'm on time for everything. I actually love being on time for everything. My dad, he would always say, you make your bed, you got to lay in it. And for me, that was past. That's my past, right? And so as an adult, I was able to tell my dad, you make your bed, you got to lay in it, but you don't have to stay in it. And that's always been dear to my heart, because I know that I'm more than capable of conquering my future head on. And also how we show up. When you think about growing in humility and, really embracing that gratitude of just being grateful, to even exist in this lifetime, showing up for my tomorrows, I'm definitely going to show up for my tomorrows. When God says, write the vision, make it plain, being able to um, uh, compartmentalize all the things that you have to do in this moment in time, ceasing the moment, carpe diem. All of this whole statement means so much to me because I I am in control and I'm fully aware that I have the choice to change or turn things around in my lifetime, just by one choice, right? And so when I'm able to focus and hone in on the things that I have to change for my tomorrow, then it becomes easier. My approach to life's adversities, or my approach to how I want to see change in the world, how I want to impact, you know, people on a daily. When I walk out my front door, I always ask God, I say, God, put me in the path of someone that I need to speak life into, because when you're speaking life and when you're serving, others in such a sui generis way, it becomes second nature, right? It becomes who you represent yourself. And so my tomorrows, I'm looking forward to getting to my tomorrows, to getting to the future. The amazing part about this lifetime is we're just catching up to the future of our present moment. God, He knows our beginning and our end story. He knows that expiration date when we have to transition. We don't know, but He's allowing us to have this conversation, this moment in this present time, because it's meaningful and it's impactful. So we definitely need to have more conversations around the table type of conversations, because it really does stimulate your neurons. And at the end of the day, you know, you have to want peace, peace in your mind, peace for others, and just, to be able to show up in your own authenticity, very authentic way of life and just how you represent yourself. So thank you so much, Kevin. This has been very profound for me today.
Thank you. Having values determines your future. And I think my takeaway and what I think I heard, my interpretation of what you said, that's what kind of stuck with me. Having values determine your future. Now we've gotten to that part of the show. Again, this is February 2026. Few of us know it as Black History Month. I'm looking at it as just another month in order for us to make history. The tone of this show today, I had asked last week for someone that has impacted your life, that throughout our history, to bring something from them, the quote and whatever. I'm going to make this announcement before we even talk about it. The last show of this month, we're going to write. I released a podcast from my Monday podcast. Says, "Who am I?" I still question it every single day. And the reason why I question that is the reason why that we are showcasing people. Because when I look at the fact of the freedom that I enjoy, the freedom that each and every last one of us enjoy, no matter what the hue is of our skin, I look at the fact that John Brown sacrificed in order to have people have freedom and opportunity and to have a religion. When I look at the fact that, when we celebrate Martin Luther King, that's 250,000 people, less than 6% of the people in that crowd on that day in Washington, D.C., looked anything like me. It was a rainbow coalition of people that had the same belief, wanted to provide equal opportunity for every single person. So no matter when we talk about who are we or who am I at the end of the month, or whoever brings a quote next week that has someone that has impacted their life or something that they're carrying with them, it doesn't make a difference of the hue of their skin. It's the fact when I look at the fact that, Denise, when she smiles, her face lights up when she talks about coming back from the motherland. When I talk to Lois, and I know what it's like, in order to be in Jamaica, and go to a place where everyone looks like me in the conversation. I've been in mixed rooms of everyone else that are fighting to make a difference no matter what. But I also look at the fact that the brother that I love, that's closer to me than my own natural brothers, if it had not been for his family, his mother coming from a country that we are trying to ban, of crossing the sea in order to be free and whatever, I would not be allowed to put my arms around the man that I call my brother from another mother and love him as if we share the same DNA. All right. So with that, I'm going to ask Naheem Garcia, thespian, soon to be a star in all of our hearts. And we're going to share him with you to give us that quote and give his interpretation. And yes, we are getting to that part of the show. All right. It's hard to follow all of you rock stars, and you guys are the light in my eye today. All right. Naheem, if you don't mind.
None of us can change our yesterday, but all of us can change our tomorrow by Colin Powell. I'm not as fancy as everybody else is sometimes because everything has been said as far as the quote and what needs to impact. Our gases, yesterday's gases produced today, today's gases will produce tomorrow. Change happened when yesterday happened. Prepare you for your next day, your next time, your next movement. I like to say, feel your pain today, but tomorrow feel your glory, which is an opportunity for you to know that whatever happened yesterday was yesterday. You have another opportunity when you rise to make a better today, to build a better tomorrow. And that's how that quote fell on me. I don't want to stretch it out too much because at the end of the day, sometimes less is more.
Oh boy, you just set me up for failure.
I'm impressed that you could be in between and still come back with your how it landed on you at the end. So, I don't believe you. I think you're gonna be fine.
It surprises me every single Sunday. I am probably by far the most introverted person that any of you guys will ever meet. Larnez has seen me live in action, but in my real life, and what the world sees, I have to be extroverted because in order to be heard, I have to feel comfortable with delivering the conversation that needs to be had. And sometimes the conversation when I speak is uncomfortable the most. But I think Anne Marie said earlier, we have to become professional listeners. And I did not realize as growing up, even though I was not a straight A student, I have been in that space for a while I was in college, but I was not a straight A student coming up. I was a professional listener. Sometimes they say that silence shows your complacency or makes you complicit. And I just realized I didn't know it. I was listening. So this quote, as simple as it sounds on the surface, but when you really sit with it, as I have, it raises a deeper question about control, time, and responsibility. Yes, we cannot change yesterday. Yes, tomorrow holds possibilities. It holds our future, it holds our dreams, or all the what if. But the real power lies within the present moments. I said this as we sit right now. Life doesn't happen in yesterday's or tomorrow. It happens in the decisions we make today. So what if tomorrow never comes? I ask myself. That's why I said, who am I? Today is yesterday's tomorrow. The future, we hope, will shape us not only for what we choose in this moment, but the question is so simple and awaiting for a better future. That's all we have to do. We have to be patient. We have to believe. It's about taking ownership of your present situation and understand that times are uncertain and times are troubled, as we can all sit with it today. Nothing or anything we do is guaranteed. We are also reminded that control is found in our actions and the things that we do right now. You ever been in a situation when you lost someone and said, I wish I had, or wish I should have said, or wish I couldn't? All right. If you are in that situation right now, let's not go ahead and wait for maybe. Go ahead and hug that person. Go ahead and tell that person that love them. Go ahead and say how much you have been impressed by them and how they have impacted your life or the conversation or even changed you. This quote teaches us that while the past is fixed, the future is shaped by the actions and the conversations we have. We cannot rewrite history, nor should we destroy it. But we can redirect the path of our intentions and how we live today. So, what I would like to say to each and every last one of you that are listening to us, I want to thank you for coming to the show. Do not wait for tomorrow to become who you are meant to be today. The power to change your life exists right now. Yesterday is history, and that's fact. Tomorrow's possibility, and that's also a fact. But today is your responsibility, and that is also a fact. So, if you like what you've heard from me or any of my wonderful co-hosts, I want to thank you for coming to Motivational Sundays with Kevin and Friends. I should actually change this from friends to the family, because I'm an HR nightmare. I love you all. And when I talk about who I am, it's a direct reflection of who my fraternity brother, John Lewis, I won't say was, because he is, because he lives in the heart of me. And I'm still trying to discover if I can ever have the power and the fortitude to do what he did and what he sacrificed in order for all of us to have this moment. So I would ask my listeners to buckle up, because this next couple of shows are going to be on fire. So my grandfather always said, when you get to a place in life that you can help someone else out, it is your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said, we say what?
Fade to black.
We fade to black.
And don't forget to come back.
Welcome Motivation Sunday with Kevin and friends.